So, full disclosure, I'm here to begin to interrupt or disrupt some of those notions and barriers that you might have about doing little sketches or little watercolor vignettes into your travel journals. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you are saying, I'd love to do that, but I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to sketch. I'm not an artist. All of those kinds of things. A really simple way around that is a kind of a two-step thing. One is a little bit of practice, and two is learning something about the little tips and tricks that are there along way. This is a little travel journal that I did for a winter vacation down in Zihuatanejo, Mexico. So just little vignettes. Don't worry about painting the whole page. It's kind of intimidating. I rarely do it. But little vignettes that you can add to give really wonderful context to your travel journals is all there. Just to, you don't need to do the whole beach. You could just do those umbrellas that are out there, or a palm trunk, all kinds of things. So I'm going to start by doing rose hips. Out for a hike, you can do a hiking journal. In fact, there's a hiking journal that I keep right now. You could do I was out hiking with one of my granddaughters, and there were rose hips everywhere. So let me show you how you can do rose hips really quick and simple, and a little bit of practice, and I know you can do it. So have a look here and you'll see exactly what I mean. So there's two things that I want to kind of get at here when you're doing little sketches and little watercolor vignettes into your travel journal. One is to keep them small, and that's going to help you kind of get over that intimidation of that big blank page staring there in front of you. The other thing is to kind of be gracious with yourself and recognize that, everything does take a bit of practice. When you started driving, you probably weren't very good at it, but now you're probably a pretty good driver. So the other thing is that you may have a really nice sketchbook like this, and you don't want to use that. It can be intimidating, I guess, in some respects. So one of the things that you could do is just take, in this case, an envelope that you're going to recycle. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to do a few different versions of rose hips. Okay, and I'm doing these because this is one of the things that's in one of my hiking journals when I was out with one of my granddaughters, and they were just everywhere, and they're bright colored, absolutely beautiful, and it really brought back memories. So I didn't do the whole landscape of Munson Pond. I just did the rose hips. So take a pencil, just a straight HB pencil, and hold your hand in one place and just an arc. That's all you need to do. And then down, go part way up to here and start with another arc. There's your start. There's your stem. Now rose hips, they're kind of round, and they can be different shapes depending on the species of the rose. They can be round, they can be kind of oblong, but we're not getting too, kind of focused on this. A little rough lines here. And one of the distinctive things about rose hips in the fall is that they've got these kind of squiggly parts here, and I'm sure there's a botanical name for those, but let's not worry about that. But they're one of the things that help kind of make it look distinctive that these are rose hips. Now the sun is coming in from this side, so this is going to be in shade here. So if we do just a line down here, a little blip there for, that's a technical term, a blip, for the light reflection off that. And because it's in shade, just do some straight lines. There you are. And you see, you haven't wasted any paper in your sketchbook, and you've got basic rose hip done. You can do it in your sketchbook, and I'd encourage you to do that, and just practice these. Just, there you go. And don't worry about getting them, there's something kind of attractive, I think, to the roughness of them. And I'll show you how we can add just a little bit of color to this that's gonna give it even that much more character. Now, rose hips are, they're often kind of reddy orange. So just take a little bit of watercolor of that reddy orange kind of color here. Let's take it out of my palette. And then just paint through there. And again, you want to leave that little reflective area there. So there's your rose hip. You've added just a little bit of color to it. We can do that again with these ones on. You can see what it looks like with white paper from the back of this envelope. And you know, if you don't like it, you're going to recycle the envelope anyways, and you can just chuck it away and start again on the next envelope. And there you go. So there's a simple way to do rose hips. And when you've got that down, one of the things that you can add to just a little bit more kind of dimension to it, and generally I'd wait till this dried, but you take a little bit of kind of greeny brown here and just add just a tiniest little bit of color here. And you can do the same with these pieces down here. I'm not getting too close because it'll run into that. And normally just wait till it dries, and then you can add the green in there. You can see it's bleeding through a little bit. So a really wonderful little piece. And you know, once you practice it a little bit, here's one I did on an envelope a little earlier. Once you practice this, trust me, you're going to get a lot better at it. And then what you can do is you can take that rose hip and you can put it on a card. And you've got a greeting card. Everybody wants greeting cards, and a great little piece. And if you're worried that people aren't going to know that it's a rose hip, then label it rose hip. And you'll be sure that everybody knows on the planet that this is a rose hip. Always sign it as well. And there you go. So a really simple way that you can add little watercolor vignettes to your hiking journal, your paddle journal, your cycling journal, your road trip, or wherever it happens to be. And in this case, it's rose hips. And away you go. So head over to traveljournal101.com, download your weekend travel journal to get things going, or there's a flip through of one of my travel journals. Here's one of those journals here. It's a Yellowstone River paddle trip. There's a little tourist map of where we went. Little kind of sketches in there. Little sketch maps of where we camped, all kinds of things that you can draw into your travel journal. So give it a try. You are going to be absolutely delighted with it, and know that you've got something that's really kind of pulling out those memories that you've got, in this case, of a great hiking trip with my granddaughter, and you can do exactly the same. So leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Head on over to Travel Journal 101 on the Facebook private Facebook group and leave an example of your work. Be brave. Go out there and get it. I know you can do it.